How is everybody doing today? Sorry about the previous stream. We had a stream about 5 minutes ago. And for some reason the sound wasn't working, so we're all good to go. Hopefully we're good to go. So what we were just working on, we were actually, let's see here. Let's open up Unity here. We were just working on, and I'll show you my screen in just a second. Good, okay, everything's working properly? Good, okay. We were just working on the animation of the main enemy type, the creepy, naked alien thingy. So we're gonna actually open that up inside of Unity and also Blender, and we're gonna work in between the two programs to get the animation working properly. So let's open up Blender here. Once I get everything opened up, I'll share my screen with you. There we go. All right. Good. All right, guys. We're going to turn on some beautiful jazz and get started. All right, so as we were talking about in our previous stream, we're going to focus on the actual, there's basically just two frames here. The pullback frame. We could probably make it, let's see here. Pulling back like this and then coming forward. So we're going to focus on these two frames. Not necessarily the time in between. Okay, what I mean is we're going to do a pretty quick motion coming forward. But believe it or not, one sec here. Believe it or not, the time in between when he recovers back to his original position, that's the most important portion of this animation. Okay? Coming forward, that should be a lot faster, okay? So if I just select all of these here, pretty fast. Probably go even quicker. Pulls back, comes forward. Okay? And then he'll just come right back to his original position right here. Okay. So for now, we're just going to focus on one animation for coming forward. Excuse me, guys. For coming forward here. Something like... Whoa, let's see if we can select the right one here. There we go. Something like that. Okay. Comes forward and hits you like this. Maybe he swipes around, you know. So let's see if we can... There we go. Good. And then we're going to rotate his entire hand. Actually, you know what? We're not going to rotate the hand. We're going to rotate the wrist here. There we go. There we go. Something like that. So he's going to come forward, swipe like that, and then come. And this is what I was talking about with the recovery animation being the most important. So we're going to come like this. Yeah. And actually, it'll be like that. There we go. And by recovery, I mean, like I was talking about in my previous stream before it went out. This position and that position aren't that big of a deal. Just make sure those are two correct frames. Don't worry about the time in between. So if I was to punch you, coming back is the most important. So punch, recover. Punch, recover. Okay? The same is true with swiping. The recovery, like this, is the most important. See? We're already almost there. Comes back like this, and let's see. Let's go to the front view here. We're actually going to pull our arm down like this. Maybe have his chest come forward like that. Or to the left there. Maybe this arm comes like that. So he's going to recover to a pretty standard looking position here. There we go. forward. Now you can see it feels pretty stiff, doesn't it? So I'm going to show you how we can avoid that stiffness. Okay. Come forward and then watch this. The way we avoid the stiffness is we actually have the hinges. Think of your animation as operating a lot like a hinge. So this would actually sort of come forward like that. So he pulls forward, and as he pulls back, this comes like that. Yep. And I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it. Watch this. You can actually do sort of a bounce effect like this. So we're getting there. Maybe pull this back a little bit like that. Good. And then if we select all of our bones here, we can see where the beginning is here. There we go. Comes back. That comes like that. And then bring it forward. There we go. Philippe is asking a good question. Thomas, is there a way that we can access the previous streams? Just go to my YouTube channel, and then there's a playlist. All of my streams are unlisted. That means you can't actually search for them. They don't show up in the search on YouTube, but they are public on a public playlist. So just click on that playlist, and you should be able to watch them all. Do I find animation hard? This is from Jandy. It's not hard, but it's sort of a guess and check process. Okay. Meaning it takes a while sometimes. So what I'm thinking about is if every bone, I like my characters and my animations to be very jiggly. What I mean is if every bone had very little muscle but a lot of mass to it, it's very springy. So if we wanted to make this arm more springy, you would have it come over here. And then as it comes back, I'm going to give it a little bit more weight as it comes back. And then like this. And then pull forward. So that to me is the most important thing, is making things seem springy. See that? It's got a jiggle to it. Now this, the forearm right here actually feels not very springy. So let's see if we can solve that problem. And we're just working on the right side right now. I'm going to go to the front view and we're going to work on that in just a sec. Probably do this. And then back like that, and then come forward. Let's try that. Getting there. Getting there. Okay, let's go to front view, make sure everything looks good. Hello, Roger. Or Rogered, how are you? And by the way, guys, there are only 3 codes available for today for 40% off Full-Time Game Dev, which is my online course. For those of you who want to learn how to make 6 figures, or at least learn everything I've done to make 6 figures a year. Last year we made a lot more than 6 figures. It's taken about 5 years for me to get to a position where I'm actually bringing in significant income. But for the last 5 years I've been a full-time game developer, bringing in about 6 figures a year. Some years are much better than other years, like I said before. But if you're interested in learning how to secure 6 figures, or again, learn what I did, because I can't make any promises. And that includes how to get 6 figures from a publisher, but also 6 figures from crowdfunding, which I've done that multiple times. I'm going to teach you how to do that in this 30-plus hour online course. But not only is it going to teach you about funding, and specifically funding your demo, a 15-minute demo and going full-time, which is what I did. And I'm just honestly living my dream job here, making games. Not only are you going to learn how to do that, you're also going to learn how to make a game from scratch, 2D and 3D. So you can join over 2,000 students. I've got 2,000 students worldwide. So if you're interested in learning how to do that, feel free to check out the promo code below. There are only 3 available. These always sell out in the first 24 hours. Let's see. Most of the time they do sell out. All right. And guys, if you're a student, feel free to say hi in the chat. All right. Let's see here. I'm trying to think why this looks stiff. Kind of like it oddly stiff. It's interesting. I do kind of want this to be rotated a little bit. That, and then like this. There we go. Okay, that's good enough for now. All right, that seems good enough for now, so I'm going to save that out. And we're going to go from, let's see here. If we bring this down to 160 frames here, now I know which frames are associated with which animation. So I have the stand animation here, I've got the run animation here, and then I've got the attack animation here, okay? A lot of you might be wondering why we have all of our animations in one, what's called a dope sheet, or in this case, one action. And that's because Unity makes it a little bit challenging to get all of your animations working properly, or at least that's that's my experience. It has trouble importing the Blender animations. So what I do is I actually just create new animations inside of the actual enemy here. And so I'm going to call this one attack. And all we do is we just scrub all the way. Actually, you could just, again, you can find it here, 160 to 182. So we're just going to type in the start as 160. The end is 182. So there's the attack animation right here. All right. Okay. Looping. I don't think I want it to loop. Let's hit apply here. Now, here's the thing. We want our animations to not be read only. We want to be able to edit them actually in the animation window here so that we can add animation events. So what I do is I actually just duplicate. So in this case, I'm going to do Command D. There we go. And there's our attack animation. I'm going to go to my Walker Animator Override. There's this attack field here. I can just swap that out. Here we go. So in theory, hopefully when we hit play here, you'll see that the attack animation will be the proper one. So let's go to our guy here. See what happens. Good. Okay, so he's not looping. Okay. All right, so let's go to the attack animation right here. We're gonna loop it. And you'll notice that we have some issues. I might need to tweak some of the scripts here to get this working properly. Okay. That actually works pretty good. The sound is kind of off. All right. So you notice the sound is a little bit off. And I think that's because the sound is associated with a timer inside of the attack script, or the attack functionality, which is in the enemy. I believe it's in sample enemy here. Let's see. Wait, Mr. Beast is in the chat? Hey, dude. That's kind of weird. Welcome. I saw you hanging out in the chat. It's actually really, really cool. So we've had Mr. Beast hang out in the chat. We've also had PewDiePie hang out in the chat. So that's pretty cool. You just made my day, dude. You posted a video. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. Correct me if I'm wrong, you posted a video, I think it was about an autoimmune issue you were having with Crohn's. And I was looking up information for my wife because she's got that. And that was actually one of your most helpful videos. So I just wanted to, I did want to say thank you for posting that. That's pretty cool. I think he is the one because there's a check. Unless, I don't know. I don't know if that's it. Yeah, it's fake. Is it fake? It's hard to know. I think it is fake. But Mr. Beast did show up in the chat once, which was really cool. But I have been wanting to say thank you to Mr. Beast because he had a video on Crohn's disease, which was super helpful. Yeah, he showed up one time. It was when I was doing the PewDiePie stream, so that's why it is believable. And PewDiePie showed up once too, which is always a really cool thing. All right, let's see here. So if you could take a look here, you can go to the actual state for the sample enemy. And you can see here we have this attacking is true and attacking is false. The player is actually taking damage inside of this script here. Injury radius, and there's also an injury timeout. That's interesting. So I wonder if we could make the attack occur with an event in the animation pane as opposed to inside the script here. Yeah. Obama's in the chat. I'm a big fan of trolling. I like that. Sure, you can donate all you want. All right, let's see here. So this is actually an interesting, let's see here. This right here, take damage. Yep. This is an interesting script here. So I could put this inside of the animator functions, okay? So this animator function script we can attach to an animation and then fire a function. So I'm gonna create a new script here. Yeah, guys, the reason I actually I'm not ashamed for believing that Mr. Beast would be in the chat. I'm really not. Because there have been multiple times where Felix will show up and I'm like, okay, PewDiePie's here. Well, okay, hello. I am that cool, right? Public void, this is going to be called hurt player. Okay. And all we're going to do is we're just going to do game object, find object of type, player statistics here. Let's see the potential fixes here. Yep, using player state, good. And then we're going to do take damage. Damage by proximity is an interesting... I think the damage is going to be an integer, okay? We're going to write integer damage. Okay. Not damager, just damage. And by default, it's going to be 1. Daniel says, I got secondhand embarrassment when I started thanking Mr. Beast. Well, I agree with you there. I love it. All right, let's see here. Arjit. Welcome, Arjit. You were very helpful yesterday. Alex, withhold your surprise, but I'm here too. I know. Unbelievable. All right, let's see here. All Let's see here. So now we can send damage to the player, hopefully based on the animation event. What's up, Fabio? What's your question? All right, so if we go to the actual enemy, in this case it's called Walker Father. We can go to the cube here. There we go. And the reason that's called cube is because that's the that's what I started working with in Blender. So this attack here, you can see now we can actually add an animation event to this attack. Okay, so it's going to occur about right here. So attack occurs right there. The player dodges this, you know, good for the player, right? So let's see here. Hurt player. Hang on one sec, guys. All right. Sorry, my dog was about to freak out, and my my kids are asleep. All right, so the attack is going to occur here, and I can choose what I want the attack to be, how powerful I want it to be. So I think in this case, it would probably be something like 10 or maybe even 25. Okay, we're going to save that out. And then what I'm going to do is go to the actual enemy here. Good, okay. Let's take a look at this script here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to comment this portion out, save it. And let's see here. I think that's all I want to do. Okay, so let's go to Unity. Alex, that sounds so relaxing. You say you like throwing these streams up, relaxing in the living room, and catching up on apologetics books I've wanted to read. All right, let's see here. Now if we actually get this guy activated here, let's see if we get hurt. It works. Good. Okay, I like it. So you guys see what happened there? Basically all we did was... Sorry guys, I'm recovering from a cold here. If we go to attacking, the attacking animation, this is going to hurt the player. Now, the question is, if I back up out of the way, what happens?
She's here. She's here. Repent your slave. She's here. Lucifer. She's here. She's here.
Okay, let's see here. I think it still hurts the player even though I'm out of the way. Yeah, I don't like that. So we got an issue here. The attack animation, oh, that's interesting. Let's see here. Let's double check what's happening. Damage by proximity, what is that? Okay, there's a variable here called damage by proximity. And guys, by the way, for those of you who are curious, who are new to the streams, if you're curious why I don't know what this is, it's because, well, yeah, there it is right there. I hired out for the first time in my 3 projects, an And by the way, I have 3 games out, or 2 games out. Where's that being defined? The first time in my 3 projects, I've actually hired a coder. His name is AJ. Huh. Damage by proximity. What does that mean? Huh. Injury radius. What does that mean? What is this? Okay. Interesting. So one of the issues I've got, it looks like what we've got to deal with here is if the player is within the injury radius, it's going to start that attack. Once the attack is started, the player is going to get hurt. And I don't know if I just don't know if I like that method. I would rather have an attack box, and if you're in that radius, you're going to get hurt. That's kind of where my head is. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to, you can see here we have this walking animation, and then we have attacking. I'm actually going to make, we're going to have to figure this out. Let me think here. What about the idle? Is there an exit time for idle? No. Okay, so it's taking a while. It's taking a while for the attack to occur. And I'm going to try and figure out injury timeout, injury delay. Yeah, there's 2 variables here. Huh. Yeah, interesting. What I'm going to do, here's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to create a new script, okay? And this script is going to be called attack box. We're going to create a new script called attack box. All right. Let's collapse all these windows here because I'm getting a little lost. I like to be in control with the animators. Sorry, excuse me. I like to be in control with the animators. So I'm going to create a new script called attack box. Okay. There's going to be, let me think here. Attack box is fine. It really should be called hurt box. And this is basically just going to hurt the player. Okay. Let's see here. It's going to hurt the player, but there's going to be some delay associated with it because you don't want to just kill the player and just drop their health in an update loop. So let's open that up here. I'm going to go to this animator functions here. Animator functions here. And we're going to copy this script here and we're going to put it inside of the hurt box. Okay. There we go. Then we're also going to go, let's make sure we import the proper scripts here. Yep, import our player state, which is this namespace up here. We need to make sure we import that to be able to access player statistics and actually take the damage. Okay. So this is the first thing I want to do here is I want to go into Blender, not Blender, Brave, my browser. And we're going to go ahead and just, we're going to go to this thing called Google. And we're going to Google on collision enter. And actually on trigger enter. There we go. Because I never really memorize my scripts, guys. I know I should, but I don't know if it's worth it. Because I have terrible memory. So let's go ahead and basically on trigger enter. We're going to hurt the player. Okay. And it's going to be by the variable power. Okay. For those of you who are interested why I'm so quiet today and why I'm not as energetic as I usually am, it's because I am not feeling the best still. That's my excuse, at least. No, I'm still feeling a little sick from yesterday. So it's going to be power. And by default, let's just make it 10 Okay, so we're not actually going to pass anything through here. All we're going to do is do power here. Okay, there we go. So hurt the player is going to occur on trigger enter. But we want to make sure that it's actually hitting the player, right? So let's make sure we're checking that properly. So what we're going to do, if collision.transform compare tag is player. All right, good. So I'm just going to copy a script that we're using in an, or copy a condition. There we go. From the other script. So in this case, we're going to do if other.transform compare tag is player, then hurt the player. Okay, and that's going to fire this function here. It's going to hurt the player. Okay, so we've got this hurt box, and I think it's going to work. Now we're going to go to our Unity right here, and what I'm going to do. Let's see here. What we're going to do is we're going to create a box. 3D object. It's going to be a cube. Yep. Remove the mesh renderer and the mesh filter. We don't need that. All we need is this box. Okay. We're going to zero it out. Good. Maybe scale it up just a little bit here. Good. Okay. And all we're going to do is have it facing the forward direction of the enemy. Then we're going to add this hurt box to it. Oops. Add hurt box. That's strange. I can't add it. Why is that? The script don't inherit a native class that can manage a script. What? What are you talking about? Okay, the naming is wrong. Is really what it is. Hurt box. There you go. Great job, Unity. Okay. All right. Checking on the chat here, making sure everybody's happy. Ray says Ray Chadwick says I'm making a 2D roguelike JRPG like everyone else. That's awesome though that you're making a game. Seriously. All right, so we're gonna call this Hurt Box, and guys, what's cool about this is, excuse me, I'm actually gonna make a prefab out of it. Drag that in. And so we can use this for all enemy types, okay? Now, instead, if we go to our actual, there we go. We're gonna drag this into the actual animation, the game object that's being animated. And so what we can do is actually disable the hurt box, and you also want to make it a trigger. And if we go to our attack here, instead of using an animation event like we were previously, hi, Dr. Dingo. All right. So this attack animation event, we're actually not going to use that anymore. All we're going to do is right here, we're going to enable the hurt box. Let's turn on record mode, enable it, and then we're going to disable it right here. Okay, now there's a couple problems here. I could tell you right away. Well, let's go to the hurt box. First off, we haven't added the hurt box script. I can tell you what's going to happen right now. It's going to basically just kill the player because it's going to appear and then it's going to be on trigger enter. Actually, no, we actually should be good. Oh, we're good. On trigger enter, it's going to hurt the player once. Okay. But what I want to do is I do want a variable that is called, it's not serialized, but it is private, and it's going to be a Boolean, and it's going to be active, and by default it's going to be true, actually. Okay, on disable, void on disable, what this is going to do is when we disable the game object, we're going to set active to true, okay? When we hurt the player, though, we're going to set active to false. Why are we doing this? So that the only way for the hurt box to hurt the player again is to be disabled. And then once it's enabled again, you can hurt the player again. Now, here some of you are saying, but Thomas, untrigger enter solves that. Not necessarily, because if the player moves out and then into the box again, if they accidentally did it really quick, the player would get hurt again, and that's not really fair, is it? So we're going to do active equals false. Okay? Right. Wait, no. There we go. We actually need to put the condition here. And active is true, then hurt the player. Once we hurt the player, active is set to false. And once it disables, per the animator, and honestly, we could, I guess we could just say active equals false there, or we could deactivate it there if we wanted to, but I think this should do it. All right. So the hitbox or the hurt box appears in the attack. Let's go to the attack animation, just double check here. So right there it appears, and then it disappears there. Okay. That honestly, that should do it. Let's double check here. Let's test it out. It doesn't work. And I'm not surprised in the slightest that that's the case. Let's double check the actual, you know what we could do is, let's just double check everything. So let's go exit maximize on play mode. And let's take a look at the walker that's currently running. Okay, he's over here. Let's take a look here. Let's watch it. Drag the scene panel here, and then game view here. And let's see here. Select the walker. Where are you? It's walker 2. Okay. Let's take a look here. Let's watch his attack box and see what happens. There's the hurt box. So let's keep an eye on the hurt box, guys. Okay, enables. Good, okay. And let's take a look at the script here. Let's go ahead and serialize this active. Okay, and just make sure that this is actually occurring. The reason you serialize a private variable so you can see it in the inspector, which is another way to do it, is to debug it, right? Debug.log. I bet you it's because of active, but yeah, we're gonna take a. But let's just double check here. There's the hurt box. Let's take a look at it. Active is set to true. Okay, nothing's occurring, and that is, now that I'm thinking about it, that is expected. It needs a rigid body. This is something I never fully understood in Unity, which is, you know, a box collider. If you're going to use a trigger event, it needs a rigid body, which is just strange to me. So let's make it kinematic and then see what happens here.
Fresh fruit.
There we go. Works. All right. I like it. All right, guys. So the hurt box really works. Wonders. Now, here's the thing. If we go to our actual enemy script here, sample enemy, you'll notice that I commented out this here. What I would rather do is say if uses hurt box, then, and if that's false, then we'll do this whole damage by proximity thing, which is just an automated attack that's based on an injury delay. That's just for enemies that I don't really want to add a super specific animation to, like the spider event, the spider enemies. So this is sort of going to preserve the previous script in case I want to use it. But uses hurt box by default is going to be false. So let's go to, we're going to make this, this is going to be a serialized field. It's going to be private. It's going to be uses hurt box. False. And it's a private Boolean. Yep, there we go. Save that out, jump back into Unity here. And what we're going to do is actually, we actually need to apply all of the changes, because I realized, yeah, we made some changes. There we go. So apply everything to the prefab here. And then we're also going to go to inside the prefab. And you can see here that new script. Let's see here. Where's uses hurt box? There it is right there. So now it's going to take advantage of that hurt box. Okay. All right, so let's take a look here. So all of our enemies should be able to hurt me. Let's see.
Sacrifice to Eve.
Okay, let's take a look at this one here. See if these can hurt me as well. Good. Okay. So we're going to obviously work on the effects for getting hurt. But right now I just want to double check and make sure everything works properly before we actually put in the effects. You really want it to be fair to the player. So that's what we just accomplished here. Okay. All right. So what am I doing here? You'll notice that the animation doesn't occur quick enough. Okay. So what we need to do is actually jump into the sample enemy script here. And let's see here, injury delay. That's an interesting word because it's really attack delay. Okay. So let's take a look here. See what injury delay does. Let's see if we set injury delay to 0. It's currently set to 1 second. Let's zero that out. Save that out. Jump into Unity here. Let's see. Yeah, that didn't do it. So injury delay is kind of irrelevant at this point. Let's see here. Injury timeout is greater than injury delay. He's not shooting projectiles. Let's see here. Where's the hurt? If distance is smaller than or equal to injury radius. Okay, it looks like the delay. Why is the delay happening? So let's see here. Let's take a look here. This is pretty much the only script that matters right here, which is it's setting that Boolean to true. So let's take a look and see what's going on. If distance is smaller than or equal to the injury radius, correct, that's good. What will happen if I just remove this completely? Let's take a look. Let's see what else we're worried about here. If current state is set to following and controller does not equal null. Good, okay. Interesting. Let's take a look. See what happens here. Yes, Thomas. You're a fool. We need to go to the actual... Let's see here. Oh, no. I thought for a second we hadn't applied it to the actual prefab. All right, let's take a look. I want him to immediately hit me. It's because he stops the time it takes between running or fall. Oh, no. Let's take a look at the animator here. Yeah, there's no exit time. If walking equals true and attacking equals true, it's going to immediately go to the attack here. What about the idle here? Does he go idle before he attacks me? Let's take a look.
Your slave.
Let's see. Let's take a look. Does he stop? I think he does. No, no.
I'm thirsty. She's here.
Yeah, he should stop running immediately. So we're going to keep dissecting this script here and figure out what's going on. Let's take a look and see. So the sample enemy script actually extends to the enemy here. So let's see what's going on here inside of the enemy script. Is there anything in here? No. Nothing in here. So let's keep looking here. If current state equals AI state following and controller does not equal null, correct? All that looks fine. If distance is greater than or equal to injury radius. So is this even relevant? I don't think it is. This is, I believe, what's actually happening. Oh, distance is not updating properly, I think. Where is distance being updated? That's the question. I believe that's occurring in the enemy. Let's see here. Nope. In the sample enemy, let's take a look. Okay. It might actually have to do with the animator. I'm just not sure. Not sure why. Let's see here. If distance is smaller than or equal to injury radius. Let's take a look at the injury radius. Let's see here. So the injury radius inside of our sample enemy is currently set to 2.5. What if we send it to 4? So he starts attacking when he's at 4. Let's double check that. What happens here?
I'm thirsty.
Nope.
Ima.
Huh. Let's take a look. I'm interested to see if this is even doing anything. Like, I don't even know if this is even relevant. Let's take a look. All right. Let's double check. Attack player. Let's take a look at that. Let's see if that actually shows up in the debug. I don't want that debug. I'm going to clear out all of my debugs here for in just a... I'm going to clear out all my debugs here. There we go. Okay. So that I can actually see when this occurs here. So let's activate the enemy here and take a look. Okay, attack player is being set right there. Okay, okay. So it looks like the problem is the enemy or the animator here. Let's take a look. Let's see here. There's no exit time for either of these. If walking equals false. Ah. No, no. That won't do it. What about this? Exit time between walking and idle. That might be it. Let's turn off exit time there. See what happens. Come on in, buddy. Did that do it?
Fresh fruit. You're legion.
I think that did it. Yeah. He really should attack me immediately, honestly. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to my Walker Father game object here, and just for the sake of testing here, I'm going to only activate one of them so that I can click on them. And here we go. We're going to take a look at the animator here and see what's going on. Okay. There we go. So he's currently in the idle state. You can see that there. Here he comes. He's walking. And he goes to idle. Okay. So, that's interesting. He immediately goes to the idle state. I feel like we should also have a variable here that says, and attacking. No. I think we might need an interruption source. That might be what we need to do here. We could try that. Set an interruption source to next state and see what happens. It needs to be pretty quick. I love snappy game feel. Means that sometimes you need it to be instantaneous so the player can feel like they can predict what's going to happen. So if this enemy touches me, I should really be getting hurt. Yep, there we go. Good, okay. All right, Thomas. Okay. Oh, looks like my mouse is about to die here. All right, leave me a sec here, guys. Just a sec. Go. Man, gotta get some nose spray. Woo! All right, that should do it. Okay. All right, so now we can actually create some effects. So we could probably shake the screen here, actually. So remember we had I think it was in the animator functions. In this script here, we have this screen shake script here. Let's take a look. There it is. Oh man, where was it? Interesting. Let's take a look here. I think it was actually in our guns. We had this screen shake function. Or was it in the player controller? Shake. Okay, let's find in files. We're going to type in shake and see what we got. We have two. Interesting. That's so strange. All right, shake screen here. There we go. Okay, so this is being called multiple times here. Whole solution, current project. Whole solution. Here we go. All right, here we go. Screen shake shotgun. This is actually a function inside of the animator function script. Now, what I'm going to do is actually just put it inside of the Hurtbox script here. So same sort of functionality here. Actually, we're going to put it inside of the take damage. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to go to our player statistics script. And if you guys have noticed by now, making games is often just digging through a variety of scripts to figure out where you actually need to put something. All right, good. So we could put that screen shake here. So take damage is going to include a screen shake. And then it's also going to include a red flash. Okay, so let's make sure the screen shake works first. All right, does it play here? Let's take a look here. Let's go to maximize and play. And the same screen shake of the shotgun, that is going to be when we get hurt. There we go. Good. Okay, so screen shake works great. And also we need a hurt sound. So we're going to do a sort of a flesh hit for now. And then when I get a voice actress, which I need to hire one on voices.com, maybe we could do that together here. We could do that as well. So let's do the red flash. But before I do that, guys, I just want to let you know that there are, I believe, 2 coupon codes available for today. And that is for full-time game dev. So this video is sponsored by me, my online course, Full-Time Game Dev. There are over 2,000 students worldwide. If you're a student, feel free to say hello in the chat. And the refund rate for this program is ridiculously low, guys. It's like 3 to 4%, which is really low for an online program. That's because this is a 30-plus hour online course. The reviews are really, really good. I think I've only got 5-star reviews for all of the reviews I've checked out. So 5-star review for this course. And it's because you're going to learn everything that I've learned in the last 5 years of becoming a full-time game developer. Guys, I'm making indie games from my house here. This is a dream job. It's honestly, I can't think of a cooler job. I have 2 games that I've released on pretty much every platform, Neversong and Pinstripe. And I'm working on my 3rd game here. And so if you're interested in learning how I did this, guys, it's not just making games. It's actually being an entrepreneur and understanding marketing. So I teach you how to secure funding from publishers and also from crowdfunding. And you can do either or both. And I've done both multiple times. You can actually secure funding with just a 15-minute demo. And we're going to try that out, I think, with this game. I think what I'm planning on doing is doing a 15-minute demo of this game and seeing if we get funding. So we'll test it out. But if you're interested in joining a massive community on Discord and also having bi-monthly mastermind meetings with me and around 60 other students, feel free to check out the link below and use that promo code. Thank you for listening to this ad read, guys. And and I forgot to mention, you're also going to learn how to make 3D games and 2D games from scratch. So code, art, 3D design, level design, all that cool stuff. Massive online course. If you're interested, use the code below. There are 2 available for today, and I'll see you there. All right. Let's get that flash. Okay. Get that flash working. So what we're going to do is go to the canvas here. And you can see here I have a white flash. If I actually turn that up here, this is what you get. That's for collecting health. What I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to have a white flash occur in this animation window. And all it's going to do is, can I change that? I think I could change the color as well if I want to. Yeah, I can. So we're going to have a white flash, and then we can also have a red flash. So let's create a new animation. Let's go to animation here. It's going to be an other. And let's see here. UI white flash. This is going to be UI red flash. Try and use the correct syntax here. All right. Let's see here. All right, so let's just make this red, maybe a little bit orange. And you notice I'm in record mode. Sorry, my face is in the way, guys, but hopefully you can see there. Maybe I could bring it up for you a little bit here. There we go. And you'll see what we're going to do here is actually just increase the alpha to be pretty intense, something like this, and maybe make it a little bit orange. There we go. Match the color scheme. Okay. And then it'll fade out to about this. Here we go. Maybe a little bit faster. So that's getting hurt. Okay. And this is the white one. So that's collecting things like health and ammo. And this is getting hurt. Maybe a little bit faster. Okay, next thing I want to do is go to the animator window here. Okay, and you'll see in our layers here, if we go to our base layers, there we go. Now we have this red flash animation. And this is called the state machine. Okay, let's make a transition to UI red flash. And we're going to go to our parameters. Let's turn this off here. We're going to create a trigger here. This is going to be called... sorry, my dog is freaking out, Jeb. You all right, buddy? Oh. He wants to go downstairs. But I don't want him to because my kiddos are sick and my wife is working really hard to keep them happy, and he's going to go eat their lunch. And I know she won't like that. All right, so we're going to call this one hurt. Okay. So if we hurt, if the trigger hurt is activated, there's going to be no exit time. It's going to be immediate. No transition time, 0. Guys, exit time is it means it's waiting for a previous animation to finish. We don't want that. Also, we want to have a transition unto itself with no exit time, 0 transition, and that's for hurt again. What does that mean? It means that if it's currently in a flash state or a hurt state and it's currently red, if we get hurt again, it's going to do it again. So it's going to be pa-pa, pa-pa, and you could maybe do it four times if you wanted. Pa-pa, pa-pa, pa. Okay. And then we're going to go back to empty. Honestly, this one shouldn't be here. We need to go from empty. That's right. Okay. Yeah, that was not correct. Yeah, okay. So we're going to go from the empty state to the red flash. So there's 2 places that empty can go to. Red and white. That's it. Let's set this to 0. 0. No exit time and 0 transition duration. Good. And then it's just going to go right back to empty after it plays. All right. The interruption source is going to be next state as well. Good. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to do here is actually want to go to the coin. Coin pickup. You'll notice update UI is in the player stats. Yep. So why am I going to the why am I going to the update UI? It's because, let's see here. Let's see if we can find the animator state. I'm looking for the script that references this flash here. So let's go to search, find in files, and we're gonna type in flash. Sorry if you guys can hear my belly growling, I'm kind of hungry. There we go, set trigger. Okay, so this right here, all we need to do is copy these, and we're gonna put them on the hurt. There it is, take damage. See that? So we're gonna put it right next to the screen shake. There we go. And this is gonna be hurt. Okay? There we go. And you also see it's gonna play an on take damage sound, so we can create that really quick if we want. We're gonna use freesound.org for that. All right, let's go to Unity and make sure that we're getting the red flash in addition to the screen shake. Guys, there is nothing I think more important in a game than ensuring the player feels like something as important as getting hurt is instantaneous and is something that they can prepare for, and also something that you're informing them of. Okay, so we need to make sure the player is absolutely aware that they just got hurt. I typed 9 for the transition duration. Let's take a look. That wouldn't be good, is it? Really? Oh yeah, I see that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good catch. Oguz? Is that how you say that? Oguz? Thank you so much. All right, let's take a look. There we go. Okay, you can see there's like multiple flashes occurring. Why is that? It's because we're currently... Alright. It's because we have the ability to loop. So we'll turn that off. Alright, guys. So that's good. Let's go ahead and take a look at the flesh hit. Let's see here. It's a pretty good sound for getting hurt. I'm going to open that up in Audacity, though, because I kind of want a different one that feels a lot more like... well, let me try to explain here. If that sound is playing every time you shoot an enemy, which that's the current sound, that's what happens when you shoot an enemy. If that's the current sound, then if the player hears that again and again and again and again and again every time they hurt an enemy, then their brain is going to tell them, oh, I guess I'm hurting an enemy when that sound is playing, but they're getting hurt. So we want to make sure that the sound is a little bit different, okay? So I'm going to lower the pitch. And maybe we'll do another one. Maybe this one we're going to change the tempo. Actually, the speed. No, tempo's good. Okay. Good, okay. Maybe a double sort of sound. So it's going to be pa-pa. Okay. Something like that. What other sounds can it be associated with getting hurt? Other than a grunt sound, which we need to get that from a voice actress whenever we find one on voices.com. Let's see here. How about a slash sound or an axe sound? A slice sound. So let's go to freesound.org. And there's a ton of different tools we can use. For those of you who were with us last week, Hector, my sound designer, he does a lot of sounds for this game. He showed us how to use Splice, so that's a paid service. So we're actually going to use free sounds currently. So this is going to be a slice flesh sound. See if we could find one. That one's pretty cool. I like that. Let's download that. Now, obviously, we need to credit these. Let's see here. We'll just save it. The reason I'm saving everything to my desktop is for some reason my downloads folder doesn't ever show up anymore. I don't know why. It's kind of like a bug with Mac. All right. Let's see here. So we're going to add that in here. Good. And we'll just get rid of that intro piece there. And then this we can remove and then just fade out this here. Okay. This one, I don't really like it, so we're just going to mute it. That's good. All right. Export as a wave. This is going to be called Flesh or Player Hurt. Save that. Go back into Unity here. All right. And now what we could do is go to our walker. And you can see here now. Yes. Okay. So it looks like if we go to our script here, it's playing a clip on Take Damage. And that's in the SFX Manager. So we need to actually go to the SFX Manager, which should be, I believe, in our character controller here. Where would that be? If we type in SFX Manager here, we can see where this is being used. Is in the game manager. Okay. All right. So SFX manager. Ah, yes. Okay. So if we go to our sound manager. There we go. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, we have these general clips here, so we can add one more, and this one's going to be player hurt. There we go. So if we go to our set, let's go back there. Hold on. Sound manager. All right, player hurt. We can just drag that in right here. Okay. All right, so we got that. Now the sound manager is basically just a shelf for all of our sounds. Okay. Then we can go to the let's see here. Where is this being played again? I kind of forgot. Sorry guys, I kind of forgot where. All right, player statistics. Okay, it's being played from player statistics. And there we go, SFX manager, play clip from source. On take damage. What is that? Ah, yes. Okay, Thomas. Yeah, it's right here. There we go. On take damage. There it is. Okay. And the clip is going to be inside of general, and it's going to be player hurt, which is this right here. All right, let's take a look. Good, okay. All right, so it feels much better now. Good. All right. All right, good, good. Now this one here, let's take a look. Okay, so that scared me for one. So we need we need to go to the baby here and just make sure this works. No, it's not there. Where is it? Let's take a look here. Spider, it's spider. All right, spider variant. So guys, remember when we had that attack box or the hurt box? We just drag that in here. All right. Actually, let's go to the walker. There we go. And let's make sure that hurt box. Yeah, we need to apply. Yep, to the hurt box. There we go. Okay, good. So we needed to apply all of the changes we made to the hurt box. But the reason we're using a prefab now is because, well, we're going to put that hurt box inside of the spider as well. Right here. There it is. Zero it out. And let's just take a look at it. Excuse me. Drag it forward. Just like that. And it's going to be disabled. And remember, guys, we had that variable. It's called uses hurt box. We're going to say yes. And let's see here. Hurt power is something like, let's see here. It's currently 10. So we're going to go to attacking. And you'll see now we have this really crappy animation event for the spider. We're going to work on that at a later episode. Probably his 2 feet will go up and attack you like that. But for now, all I'm going to do is just go right here and then activate the hurt box. Like that. Well, let's see here. Hit record. Activate it like that. And that should do it. Now, obviously, it's being moved, which is interesting. But I think we should be fine. It should still probably, yeah, that'll still hurt the player. So let's take a look. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. All right, good, good. Make sure killing it actually solves. Cool, okay. So killing it, you know, means that everything is removed from it, including the hurt box. So that's good. Let's take a look at you.
She's here.
Good. Okay. Get out of here, bro.
We are in trouble.
Cool. So moving out of the way of the hand actually works.
She's here.
Feels great.
She's here. She's here.
All right. Good. Okay. Hey, that looks pretty good. Way to go, Thomas. All right, guys, we're going to jump into a quick Q&A here. If you guys want to do that. Does everybody want to do a quick Q&A? Let's go for it. All right. So ask away, guys. If you got questions I guess you can ask anything you want, but if you guys want to focus on game dev, we could do game dev. Or marketing, entrepreneurship, how to go full-time, anything like that. Before we do our Q&A, just really quick, I just want to let you know one final time, this video is sponsored by Full-Time Game Dev, and that is my online school for those of you who want to learn how to go full-time indie. What that means is taking a 15-minute demo and securing 6 figures in funding from publishers and also crowdfunding. I've done that multiple times. If you want to do that, I can teach you how to do that with my 30-plus hour online course. Guys, not only am I going to teach you how to secure funding with just a demo and honestly sit in your own little bedroom here and make games, which is honestly a dream come true. I'm also going to teach you just how to make a game, how to make a 2D game, how to make a 3D game. So there are 2 promo codes below. I think there's only 2 left. And if you want to get 40% off my online school, use the promo code below. And you could join over 2,000 students. If you're a student, feel free to say hi in the chat. I always say that. Feel free to say hi in the chat. And there's also a massive Discord community, which is a targeted community. It's private, so it's targeted towards those of you who are very interested in becoming full-time game developers. What does that mean? That means everybody's very helpful, very kind, and supportive. And we also do bi-monthly mastermind meetings. So if you're interested in hanging out with me twice a month during my mastermind meetings, and also just taking a 30-hour online course about how to become a full-time game developer, feel free to take a look at the link below and use the promo code. And these promo codes always sell out within the first 24 hours. And if you're not interested, I totally get it. I don't blame you, and I appreciate you listening to these ads. And because of that, because I'm slightly apologetic there's a free 2D game kit. You can download that 2D game kit. I use this 2D game kit to make a game for PewDiePie in 14 days. So if you're interested, feel free to download that, and I'll send it to you immediately. No gimmicks. It's my treat to you. All right. Aiden says, Thomas, how did your freelance partners get their jobs with modeling, etc.? Aiden, like one of my freelancers, Felipe, I think he mentions this in his channel, which his channel is below. Game dev isn't his full-time job, and so he's not doing it full-time. He just learned how to do modeling. I believe he learned how to do modeling on his own. And that's the cool thing about game dev, guys, is you can learn how to do this on your own. You don't need anybody's permission. You don't need to tell anybody what you're doing. You don't need any reason to tell anybody anything. Right now, you can learn game dev and you can learn modeling anywhere online, honestly. And my course is not the only good course out there. Although, I think my students will say it's one of the best, if I can humbly say that, just because the reviews are so good. But there are plenty of other courses out there, like Skillshare has plenty of courses, and also Udemy as well. Emerson says, how do you stay motivated on one project? I always start games but never finish them. Well, let me just give you a warning. And I talk about this in a podcast that I was on recently. There's a slight sort of, I don't know the right word, so forgive me, like a degradation of the soul that occurs every time you quit a project. And so I would encourage you guys to try and visualize the sort of poisonous virus that occurs in your body. It's sorry to sound woo-woo or hyper-spiritual, but I don't know a better way to put it. There's something psychologically that happens. Maybe we could say it that way. Every time you quit a project, you sort of become weaker. It's like a weird thing that happens. So first off, I would just say, be thinking of that every time you quit, you become weaker and weaker and weaker. And that, what do I mean? I mean, you're weaker as an entrepreneur. You don't have the mental fortitude. And so you need to be growing that mental muscle in your mind, or maybe it's in your soul, of becoming somebody who's disciplined and somebody who finishes something. That's the first thing. That's my warning. Now, the trick that I use that I mention often is I say, you need to be thinking of and visualizing what you want to get out of your game, okay? Now, are you going to get everything you want from your first game? No, you're not. So there needs to be some sort of willingness to understand, well, that you're going to sacrifice your time and your life, maybe some money, maybe some social time, maybe some Netflix and chill time. There needs to be an understanding you are going to sacrifice that. So if you're willing to sacrifice a lot of time and energy, I'm not saying sacrifice everything. I'm just saying have a budget in your mind, maybe 10% of your life you're willing to sacrifice. What I mean sacrifice is it could very well disappear and nothing comes of it. Okay? So you need to be okay with sacrificing that. Now, if you're willing to sacrifice that, you need to be you need to be willing to you need to be willing to visualize something that you're going to get out of game dev. Maybe on your second or third game, and by second or third game, I mean like the first two maybe are really short games that you release for free. So that third game, that commercial release that's 2, 3 hours, 4 hours long, that game, you need to be visualizing, what am I going to get out of this? How much money do I want to make? And what do I want to receive with that money, or with that full-time game dev gig? So I can give you an example. Here's what I've achieved. Maybe this can motivate you to finish something. What I've achieved is I make games from my home office. I have enough money and enough time to do whatever I want. Nobody tells me what to do. I do whatever I want. That doesn't mean I don't partner with people, but I get to choose who I partner with. If I don't want to work today, I don't work. Actually, today I started work at noon because I'm sick. So maybe that's not that special, right? I took a sick day, which all of us can, But I just do what I want. If I want to go for a bike ride, I can go for a bike ride. If I want to work out, I can work out. It doesn't matter what anybody says. I can do what I want. In addition to that, I get to make games and tell stories that I want. In this case, I could tell a story. In Father, I could tell a story about strange alien creatures that are related to the story in Genesis. I can make very bizarre games that a publisher probably wouldn't want to touch, but I can do that. So anyway, I'm just saying, just visualize specifically what you want to get out of it, and that will motivate you past your game, and past wanting to quit your game. All right, let's see here. Pedro says, how do you use Git in a Unity project? Just create a new Git repository. Is that how you say that? Not suppository. Create a new Git repo online. And then what I use is SourceTree. And then I clone that repo in SourceTree. I take the URL and then I clone it. And then I copy over my project files into that folder that's created. And then you push it. Game Dev Guy. What's up, Thomas? Normally I can't catch you live because I'm in Australia sleeping. Recently I started my own channel inspired by you. That's awesome. I'm going to take a look at it right now. But guys, keep asking questions and I will answer it as I look at Game Dev Guy. I like your logo. Cool. Awesome. Oh, this looks very professional. All right, very nice. It's, what's great is I'm looking at 1 week ago, you posted a video and got 11 views. And then the second one, you got 55 views. That means that you quadrupled your amount of views. It's really, really hard to gain traction on YouTube. It's really hard. And so I would just encourage you to understand that it takes a while. And so having fortitude and a thick skin is really, really important. And so maybe just a piece of advice, be willing to push through and post some vlogs for about a year before you feel like you're gaining traction. But of course, if you're not getting some exponential growth, and it looks like you already are, but it's hard to see because you've only got a sample size of 2 videos. But if you're seeing exponential growth, that's awesome. If it's static growth, it's not. There's something wrong. And I've seen static growth on my channel. The difference is I'm at 250,000 subscribers right now, and even if the growth becomes static, which is like 2,000 subscribers a month, and it just stays that way, I'm okay with that. But starting out, I think you do want to see exponential growth. So guys, feel free to go follow Game Dev Guy. We've got 245 viewers. There's no reason why we can't get Game Dev Guy to at least 100 subscribers. So guys, feel free to check out Game Dev Guy and hit subscribe. I love when we all support each other, so that's awesome. Let's see here. Exponentend, going into game app development at Abertay University in Scotland because of your amazing Unity tutorials. Awesome. Congratulations. Those videos really showed me that I could do this. Thanks for the great videos. Really helpful. It's awesome, Exponentend. That really means a lot to me. Thomas, what do you think about abortion? Well, let's see here. No, I'm kidding. What do you... I always love that joke. Anyway, are you using HDRP or standard on this project? This is from Marwan. Standard. And here's the thing, guys. Sometimes game developers like me who are morons, and I really mean that. I'm not being humble. I really, really mean that. And for those of you who were with us in our previous stream yesterday, you know that it's like Thomas doesn't really know much. He knows how to make a good... He leans into what he's good at, and everything else he sucks at. One of those aspects is the render pipeline stuff. I have tried the render pipeline stuff, and everything always breaks. And so I just gave up on it. And so something I just want to encourage all of you is if you feel stupid when you get a question, like a friend goes, hey, are you using the this render pipeline, that render pipeline? And I'm not saying you're saying that, Marwan. You're asking. But like Marwan, if someone asked you that question and you don't know the answer, if somebody says, hey, what do you think about this type of C# or this kind of coding language, and you don't have the answer and you don't know, just remember that Thomas he's making his 3rd commercial release, and he makes more than 6 figures a year selling his indie games. And he doesn't know much either. And so you guys don't need to feel bad. Let's see here. Jesse Bernard, what advice will you give to someone like me who couldn't draw to save their life? Jesse, what are you good at? And I'm asking that seriously. This is so important, guys. We've got 246 people watching me right now. There is no reason why at least half of you can't go and purchase either the Audible book or the physical copy of the 80-20 principle. Okay, maybe some of you can't afford it, but at least look it up. Google the 80-20 principle. What's your 20%? Now the question is, and by the way, what that means is what's 20% of what you do is going to result in 80% of the positive outcome, okay, or the outcome in general. So the game you create is, there's 20% of you that's actually going to result in 80% of what makes it awesome, okay? And you need to find that 20%. Sometimes it's hard to know what that 20% is, though. What's the way? How are we going to find out what your 20% is? AKA your forte. How are you going to find out what your forte is? Well, you got to just make games, right? Most of you in the chat, I can imagine, you don't really know what your forte is. And I've just figured out what my forte is. And here's the thing. My forte for 2021 might be different than my forte for 2022. So you should always be willing to grow. How do you do that? You need to be humble, right? Okay, Jesse, you answered the question. That's awesome. I'm good at programming, writing, as I know to have some of the most creative and unique ideas, composing music, and game design. Okay, so Jesse, those are 4 really great fortes. Is there a way to narrow them down to even tighter? Let's pretend you're really good at writing music and writing, like story writing. Then you need to focus on making a killer story, one of the most unique stories. And you need to be thinking of how you can put that into the marketing material. Things like artwork, they're great fortes to have. And I know that sounds like I'm tooting my own horn, but it's a great, this is just the honest truth. It's a great forte to have because you can use it in your marketing and gain traction that way. And you don't have to rely on the tea leaves or what am I trying to say? You don't have to rely on luck and like fate for you to have a really crappy looking game, but actually the story is really good. It's really hard to communicate an epic story with marketing material. A good example is The Great Gatsby. The Great Gatsby it's one of the best stories, but you have to read the whole book to understand why the story is great. It doesn't really fit into a tagline very well. And believe it or not, F. Scott, I don't even think Fitzgerald received praise for that book, at least to the extent he's received now, until he died. And so my point is that story is one of those things that it's hard to market. So you need to be thinking of ways that you can take story and also, let's say, music. You need to be thinking, how do I make that marketable? A good example is, how can you take your story, let's say you have a really good idea, and compress it down into a tagline and use that for your marketing purposes, okay? So just be thinking of that. That's tough. It's a challenge. Let's see, Game Dev Guy, let's see how many you got here. Game Dev, we just doubled your subscribers, so he's at 26 now. That's not enough, though. We've got 257 people watching, and you were only at 26. Can we get him to 100? Come on, guys. Let's see if we can get Game Dev Guy. I love the passion here, and I also love that you're putting yourself out there. Let's get Game Dev Guy to 100 subscribers. So feel free to click on Game Dev Guy's username here and see if we can get some subscribers here. I love helping people out because I'm such a good person, right? No. All right, Buttermations, which I love that. I think my forte is writing in visuals and 2D animation. That's great. That's great. So be thinking of ways that you could take your talents and your fortes, guys, and lean into those, okay? Now, there are plenty of you in the chat who are probably like, I don't have a forte. People who say, I don't know what my forte is, another way of saying that is, I don't have a forte. I think most of us were probably born with a forte, okay? Now, it's really hard to know what your forte is if you're not trying. I cannot overstate this. It is so important. It is so important for you to realize that falling on your face is how you find your forte. That is the best alliteration I've ever said in my life. That is, I'm gonna give myself a round of applause. Falling on your face is how you find your forte. Okay? You really can't figure out what you're good at until you fall and fail. Okay? Anto Pilo says it a different way here. Getting out of your comfort zone is very important. Getting out of your comfort zone typically means you embarrass yourself. Okay? You want to know one of the hardest things for me, guys? One of the hardest things for me to do growing up was talk to strangers. It was so hard. My forte is not talking to strangers. So like, I remember specifically, for some reason, growing up, we really liked to go to Jack in the Box. I don't know why. Jack in the Box is disgusting. But I would go to Jack in the Box and I was terrified to order. I was starving. I wanted to eat a burger. And me and my buddies would walk to, I was like 11. And me and my buddies would walk to Jack in the Box and I was terrified to order. Okay? Just a burger. what's my point? My point is that I was not born with the forte of talking to 267 strangers in the chat. Now I've got to know some of you, but that wasn't my forte. And you'll notice that when I start streaming, sometimes I'm not in my forte, or it's not there yet, and I have to suffer through and fail through embarrassment or not being the greatest at something before I'm actually, hitting my forte, right? So for some reason, I don't know why, I've learned how to do YouTube, and it was just after a lot of failure. Anyway, man, I'm sorry, I'm coughing, guys. Oh my goodness. Game Dev Guy is at 43 subscribers. Well, guys, we got 267 people watching, so I'm unsure why we're not at 100 yet. So if you haven't subscribed to Game Dev Guy, the reason I'm doing this, guys, is because I really, really like it when individuals just jump into something and they don't know how it's going to turn out. I really, really like that. And I am impressed with Game Dev Guy's fortitude here and willingness to put himself out there. So that's why I'm saying go subscribe. I love rewarding, and I love being rewarded by failure, and maybe not failure, but the willingness to fail publicly. And so Game Dev Guy, that's awesome. Okay, let's see here. What do you think about visual scripting over learning coding? I'm interested in starting in UE4. I have no problems with that. And for those of you who have been following my channel since I started Father, I'm very different than the developer I was 3 years ago. The developer I was 3 years ago was a purist. I was pretentious. I was pretty artsy. And I was a perfectionist, so I was like, I got to do everything from scratch myself. Now I'm like, whatever the tools are not public, and they're not unless you're live streaming, but no one cares what the tools are. No one cares whether you're using assets or not. Just get the game done. Getting the game done is actually way more important than how you get the game done. So I think visual tools are totally fine, and I actually am of the opinion they are the future, for sure. Okay. All right. Paul says, thank you for these deep insights in your story and experience. I can really relate to these feelings you're describing, and this motivates me. Whack Matt says, off to sleep. See you later. See you later, buddy. Jawad says, Thomas, what's the easiest way to avoid tunnel vision? Drink a lot of water and maybe get your vision checked. Okay, Jesse, let's see here. I'm just kidding, Jawad. Jawad says, Thomas, what's the easiest way to avoid tunnel vision? I'm prone to it when I'm trying to make a feature feel good. Well, you need to be thinking about the reward and the payoff. So what's the payoff for everything that I do every day? When it comes to me being a game developer, when I'm making games, when I'm live streaming, what's the payoff for me? And I'm asking like about Thomas Brush, what is my payoff? It is mainly financial, okay? A lot of us avoid the financial dream because we don't like to focus on money, because money can very well be a bad thing to focus on. Like, I totally understand that. But I will say that when you focus on money, maybe not, I want to be a millionaire, but say, I want to make 6 figures. It makes it a lot easier to say, okay, is this feature going to get me? Is this feature that I'm so obsessed with, that I have tunnel vision on, is it going to get me to 6 figures? And usually the answer is no. Usually it has way more to do with your ego, your pride, or trying to impress yourself or impress someone around you. So what I do is I go, every hour that I spend doing something. Now, this is not how you should be in every aspect of your life, but it should definitely be seasonal. So for me personally, I'm in a season of profitability. I'm focused on profitability. So I'm a businessman for 2021, okay? 2020 and 2021 has been Thomas the businessman. I think about ROI a lot, which is return on investment. I'm going, okay, if I'm going to put an hour of my time, and my hourly rate is probably more than your hourly rate because I've been increasing it ever since. And by the way, it's all mental. It's just a mental game. My hourly rate, it's not even, maybe it doesn't even exist. But in my head, my hourly rate is like $300 an hour. Okay, that's what my time is worth. So I go, am I going to get a return on this hour of me spending time on this silly feature in this game? And if the answer is no, then I'm not going to do it. Now, obviously, we need to learn and we need to grow, and it's hard to learn and grow when all you're thinking about is money. I get that. But if you're somebody who finds yourself quitting projects or feature creep, feature creep is tunnel vision. Basically, you're focused on one feature and you keep adding that feature, and then you perfect, and then you do another one and then another one and another one until your game is bloated. And I guess feature creep isn't the same as tunnel vision, but they definitely have the same problem. And the problem is you're making something that's useless and worthless, but it matters to you for some reason. Maybe it's because maybe you were 5 years old once and your brother said he really liked slingshots, and deep down subconsciously you just gotta add a slingshot to your game. Like stuff like that. It's like, why are you doing this? What is the return on your investment here? So the way to get out of tunnel vision is to think and dream and visualize where you want to be with your game, so that you go, okay, I'm about to enter tunnel vision. You're making something, you're like, wait. Am I gonna get a return on my investment here? Because if I'm not, and it's based on that visualization and that dream of the future of making X amount of dollars. If you're not working towards that dream and that visualization, if that feature doesn't get you there, then abandon it. Okay? Now, obviously, guys, like I said, there's different seasons. Okay? Sometimes you need to be in the season of experimentation, or another word is maybe the shotgun approach, and maybe create 12 features for your game, and then you're like, ooh, okay, these 2 are awesome, or maybe that's 4. These 4 are awesome, and I'm gonna abandon the rest. So I'm at the point in my career where I don't really need to be experimental. I know what my 20% is. I know what I should focus on to make a great game. I'm gonna focus on that stuff, and I'm not gonna worry about all the other stuff. So I can have tunnel vision for my 20%, AKA my forte. Now that I know my forte, I can actually focus on and have tunnel vision, and it will be profitable. Hopefully that makes sense. Mika says, Thomas, sometimes it's fun to just listen to you talk on various topics like this. Have you thought of doing a podcast channel on the side? Yeah, I've done it before. And because I'm focused on profitability and growth for 2021 and 2020, I kind of abandoned the podcast thing. It wasn't growing, and I don't know why. Bill Smith. Thomas, I'm older, 46 on Friday. Happy birthday. You're a noob. You said I'm a noob. What would you tell yourself, the younger beginner dev, if you could go back? Read a lot of books and take a lot of courses. That's what I would do. Bill, you're definitely not too old, but I'm an honest person, and I will say that being 46, entering game dev is a lot harder than it would be for those of you who are 18 years old in the chat. It's a lot harder for you, Bill, and I think that you should be okay. Here's another thing, Bill. You should be okay with sacrificing, and we talked about this earlier in the Q&A. You should be okay with sacrificing a certain percentage of your life and being okay with it not having a return on your investment. So there's different ways to approach like looking at your return on your investment. So on this conversation I'm about to have is you need to be willing to sacrifice and gamble away a certain percentage of your life. The reason why I say that is because if you're not willing to gamble that away, well then don't do game dev, because game dev, especially indie game dev is very risky. It's not everyone's going to be able to do it because it requires a ton of entrepreneurial skill. Maybe not skill, but not talent, but skill, and skill can be learned, right? So I would just say, be willing to sacrifice that away, and know that, okay, if you spend every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I would make a schedule if I were you. If you want to, sacrifice away Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you're going to do 2 hours on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and that's 6 hours a week. Let's say you're not, doing this full time, you're doing it part time. You need to understand that those hours you're using are a sacrifice. So what does that mean? It means not spending time with your spouse or your kids or your friends, Netflix and chill time. You're sacrificing that away. It's easier to make a sacrifice when you're younger, right? Because when we're in our teens and 20s, most of us sacrificed our time by just drinking and partying. Sacrificing your time is like the mantra of a 20-year-old. But once you're like 40, what did you say, 48? Sacrificing your time it's like, what time do I have to sacrifice? I've got none. And so what I want to say is, if you don't have time to sacrifice, you need to understand that and be weary of that. Now, if you do have time to sacrifice, understand that it's sacrificed. Like it could very well turn out to be nothing. And if you're willing to do that, then go for it. It's a gamble, and maybe another word is like investing in Bitcoin or Dogecoin or investing in like mutual funds. It's like, or maybe high risk mutual funds, because mutual funds you're definitely going to get a return on your investment in the long term. So maybe I think Bitcoin is a good example. Are you going to get a return on your investment? Maybe, maybe not. So just understand that, I guess. Sweet. Game Dev Guy is at 53 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed to Game Dev Guy, that's awesome. Feel free to subscribe just to help him out. All right, let's see here. Sunbert says, Thomas, is coding really that difficult? Can I learn it on the go if I get myself into it? Also, thank you so much for these live streams. You help more than you know. Sending much love. I don't think learning to code is that hard. Like I said, it's probably easier for, like, learning English is really easy when you're excuse me, man. Learning English is really easy when you're 2 years old. But learning English when you're 30 years old is a lot harder. So learning to code when you're younger is actually kind of easy. I started learning code when I was 16. I think I was a little bit younger than that. So it's going to be harder and harder. But there's some core principles that once you figure those out, it's pretty easy. And guys, for me, if I ever look like I'm floundering when I'm coding, it's not because I don't understand C# per se. It's because there's a lot of systems you're using that Unity has built in. And so you're always learning those. You're always learning how to use those systems. All right. Game Dev Guy says that he's also, I guess you said almost 48. Yeah, anybody, I see no, so this is the thing. I always say anybody can game dev. Anybody can be an indie game dev. But it doesn't mean it's not going to be hard. And it's not going to take a long time. And here's the thing. I'll say this. If you're not humble and willing to learn, you're not going to become a game developer. I should clarify. An indie game developer. That's what I'll say. You're probably not going to become an indie game developer if you're not humble. Humility, there's two aspects of humility that I'm really passionate about. The first aspect of humility is being willing to say, of course I don't know everything. I need to listen to people. And I'm not going to try and pretend that I can do this myself. I'm going to go learn from other people. I'm going to take an online course, or I'm going to go talk to somebody. And the second aspect of humility I like, and maybe this is incorrect, but what I love about humility is humiliation. Humiliation is not a virtue in, man, I'm going to sound like a boomer. Humiliation is not a virtue in our current day and age. But I believe that humiliation is a beautiful, wonderful thing. Humiliation is the equivalent of a bench press or doing a curl or running a mile. It's like painful. It makes you sweat. It's not something you enjoy while you're doing it, but once you get over it, like when Mr. Beast showed up in the chat, it's like, okay, well now I've learned that I don't need to believe that everybody is who they say they are, right? So that's just a small example of getting through something humiliating and learning from it, right? And so I'll just say that if you're avoiding humiliation, I can't speak for what you should be getting out of life, but when it comes to entrepreneurship, if you're avoiding humiliation, you're doing it wrong. You should be receiving humiliation a lot when you're game deving and when you're being an entrepreneur. You should be getting flushed, embarrassed, red cheeks all the time as a game dev. And you'll learn to go, ha, I'm an idiot. That's okay. Well, now I know, right? Now I know. Who cares, right? And that comes, remember, there's two aspects of humility. The second one is you could be humiliated. Why is it okay to be humiliated? Because the first aspect of humility is, of course I'm an idiot. Of course I don't know what I'm doing. Why would I know what I'm doing? Like, and the same is true with me. I've been making games for 15 years, and I still don't know what I'm doing. I'm still learning. So you need to learn to be okay with being humiliated. I wish I could draw an arrow here. You need to be okay with being humiliated because no shit, you're not God. Why on earth would you not be somebody who's embarrassing? We're all very embarrassing people, right? We all are really stupid. And maybe some of you are smarter than most people you know. Well, there's probably someone smarter than you. So chill out. Don't take yourself so seriously and be okay with being humiliated. Just be okay with it. It's totally fine. And I didn't used to be this way. I used to be embarrassed about everything. And now I just don't care. All right, let's see. Do we have any other questions here? Any other questions? Thomas, are you going to create a multiplayer game? Man, I wish, because that's where the money's at, right? I probably, like I said, guys, I'm kind of a moron when it comes to code, so making a multiplayer game isn't my forte, so I'll probably need to hire someone to do that. All right. Ibrahim Fali says, Thomas, do you think I should pay for an ad for my game, or should I make my own ads and post them on social media? That's a really complicated question. How many of you gotten an ad for my online course? You get that annoying ad where I'm like, if you want to make 6 figures, blah, blah, blah. If you've seen that ad, that ad is being managed and was informed by a lot of the content of that ad. Although it is my honest opinion of my online course, the structure of the ad is being informed by an ad agency. And so once you jump into the ad realm of game development, or I guess I should say entrepreneurship, things do get really, really complicated. So there's a whole realm of game dev, which is advertising, that I don't know anything about, and I just lean on other people. And that's where you can hire a PR agency to handle all that. So I don't want to give you too much advice there. Brian Ware says 1,000,000 times. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I never thought I'd be the guy to run ads, but I'm running ads. All right. Mika Mika says, I bought an ad on 4chan. I got 2 downloads. Yeah. Advertising I've found is for digital products, you see a lot more advertising for high value products as opposed to low value products. I've never gotten an ad for an indie game. I have never gotten a YouTube ad for an indie game ever. But what you do get ads for is for the traditional sales funnel, which I participate in, right? The traditional sales funnel is you say, hey, I can teach you how to do X. It sends them to a webinar. The webinar teaches them something. And then later down the road, you send them a promo code, and then they purchase a high value product, which is like $500 or more. I think the reason why is because advertising is expensive. So your cost per click for a big online program that's $600, which is what I sell, as opposed to my $15 video games, your cost per click here, you could say, okay, cost per click is like really much more expensive than this, and justify it because you're getting a bigger return on your investment. Indie games, it's hard to know. I'm not quite sure whether ads for an indie game would make sense. So I sell two products, right? Or two categories of products. I sell an online course, that's this year. But I also, for my 5 years of being a game dev, I've also been selling, for the majority of my game dev career, I've been selling my indie games. Those indie games are marketed through Steam's algorithm and just knowing how to work with the algorithm, but also getting like YouTubers to play my game and then reaching out to the press and personal email addresses. So I would compile like 200 email addresses for the press, personalized email addresses. I would just scour the internet, find those. That's how I market my indie games. So the way I market my online course is like live streams like this, which is essentially a webinar, or a ClickFunnels, which is YouTube ads. And these are both two very expensive things. Whereas with indie games, it's YouTube, getting YouTubers to play your game, finding press, and then reaching out to them to play your game and write a review, and then the Steam algorithm. Time-Lapse Productions, at what age did you publish your first game that brought you some good revenue? Well, that was when I was 18 years old. So I'm 30 now. That was when I was 18. I made a game called Coma. And Neversong is basically a remake of Coma, which is my highest grossing video game now. It's brought in more than $500,000 in gross revenue. Which, guys, that gets split up amongst investors and all that. So it's not like although I did have a really good year. I'm not gonna lie. I had a really good year. But my first game, Coma, that game brought in about $20,000, and that was a Flash game. The reason, man, Thomas, the reason it did, I need to go take a nap. The reason it did is because of ad revenue, which is about $5,000, and that ad revenue was also, it was more sponsorships. So at the time, you could get your game sponsored, which was really cool. You get your Flash game sponsored, so you get like $200 a pop every time you did a non-exclusive sponsorship, which is like you'd put like miniclip.com, you'd put that logo on your game, and then you'd upload it to their website. So they'd basically publish your game on their own website with their logo on your game. So I made about $5,000 that way. You just basically sell your soul to all these different websites like miniclip.com, ancon.com, newgrounds.com, Armor Games. How many of you are from the Flash era or participated in the Flash era of games? So that's how I made some money that way. And then I also sold the game. This was a mistake. I sold the entire IP to a random, the first company that bought the rights to publish the game on mobile. So I sold it for, I can't disclose how much, but it was more than $15,000. And then I bought it back. I bought the IP back. So, because they kind of went bankrupt. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's all I have time for today. I want to let you know that there is one promo code left for June 8th today's live stream. So use the promo code June 8th for 40% off my online course. Guys, I can't promise anything, but I can tell you what I've done in the last 5 years of living my dream job, honestly. Like, this is the coolest job ever, making indie games. I have an online course where I teach, it's called Full-Time Game Dev, and I teach how you can do this. The way you do it, one of the ways that I've done it, is secure funding from publishers, 6 figures in funding from publishers, and also from crowdfunding. And you could do either, or you could do you could do both or either of those options. And you can do this with a 15-minute demo. You can make a 15 to 20-minute highly polished demo, and with the tricks I'm going to teach you with this 30-hour online course, you can secure funding that way and go full-time. Like, it's totally possible. It's not a gimmick. Now, I can't promise anything, like I said, but I can tell you what I've learned. On top of all of that, you're going to learn how to make a 2D game and also a 3D game. It's a massive course. We have over 2,000 students worldwide, which is honestly baffling and very humbling. And thanks for those of you who are in the chat who are in the online course. So if you're interested, there's one more promo code for 40% off. And guys, as always, I love you a lot, and I'm really appreciative of the fact that you guys are willing to listen to me promote my course. It always means a lot. If these ad reads are annoying, I totally get it. There is a free 2D game kit for those of you who just want something free. And there's a 2D game kit below. I used the same game kit to make a game for PewDiePie, and I played it with Felix himself in front of 5 million subscribers, or 5 million viewers. So if you're interested in using that game kit and using it for commercial games or just for passion projects, you can download that immediately. So just click below and I'll email it to you like that. There's no gimmicks, no strings attached. But I'll talk to you guys later. I'm gonna go see if my kids are doing okay. They're all sick, or at least one of them is. So I'm gonna go help out my wife if I can. So I'll talk to you guys later. This was always really, really fun. I appreciate it. Bye.